What is happening, everybody? It's Troy here. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a little bit of a bloom tour and a spike update for the month of April. We're in the last week of April, so I figured it'd be the best time for us to do this. But before we get into this video, if you all could give me a like, comment, share, subscribe, that'd be fantastic. And with that said, guys, I'm going to turn to my right. We're going to start on the Phalaenopsis shelf and see what I have. Not a lot happening. I still have the Phalaenopsis red dragonfly in bloom. It is putting out another bud. Let's turn it a little. And then I believe there's one more bud behind that. So hopefully I have the potential for two more blooms to come through. The first original bloom has already faded and fallen off. Right next to it, I have this wonderful primary hybrid. It is Violacea by Bellina, and it is producing a beautiful, lovely bud that is filling up, and hopefully it breaks open soon because I am dying to smell the fragrance on this phal. I couldn't decide if I wanted the Bellina or the Violacea more, and when I was at the Kentucky Orchid Show, I ended up getting this simply because it had both of the best of both worlds. And I'm hoping with that, I will get a very fragrant Phalaenopsis. So stay tuned for that. I still have, oh, why can't I remember the name of you right now? At any rate, I left the spike on this phal, and she has put out two more buds, and this one just cracked open, and hopefully that one will soon too. I've left the spike on this no ID pink phal, so maybe we'll get a branching spike. If not, maybe she will utilize it next season and give us a big, huge show. So fingers crossed there. I have a Vio cat face who has a bud producing, progressing. I don't think it's big enough to crack open yet, but we're getting there. We're making progress. And I believe that is all I have going on right now for the Phalaenopsis shelf. On the Dendrobium shelf, this Anobi splash is still Anobi purple splash. I always chop half of her name off. Is still blooming, but she's fading out pretty quickly. So I imagine here in the next couple of days, I will cut that spike and let her have a little bit of a rest. I have a Dendrobium mini, which is also a primary hybrid, a beautiful antelope, a Latoria type dendrobium. And so hopefully we'll be seeing that soon. My favorite dendrobium that was just in spike first, and we got a lovely bloom show out of her earlier this year, I just saw is putting out two new spikes. So I'm very excited about that. I cannot wait to see her back in bloom. She's not fragrant, but she puts out these beautiful purple, like a deep, deep purple and blue undertones. And on the edging, it's almost like a chocolate brown, if you will. It's gorgeous. She is on my Instagram, and I've made a shorts video about her. I'll put her name on the screen so that way you guys can check her out if you're interested. Um, I don't think anybody else is doing anything on this shelf. If we go down here, Antonetum has put out another spike as her other one fades. This one is opening, so that's awesome. She has a very unique lemongrass type scent, if you will. I don't know. It's unusual, but I very much enjoy it. It's pleasant. And then behind that is my epidendrum, and I absolutely love this orchid because once she starts blooming, that's it. She'll bloom and bloom and bloom her little heart out until I force her to stop. Usually, I think last year I cut her spike at the end of December. She's also progressing a new growth back there, so I'm hoping at the end of that, she'll be putting out another spike, and that would make for a really awesome bloom display. So we will see what happens with her. And I don't want to jinx the situation, but my Dendrobium Blue Seas is doing something. I've noticed some nubs coming up all around the top of her. So I am going to assume that she is getting ready to give us a show. I have no idea where I am going to put this orchid once her flower spikes progress, because where are they going to progress to? So that is a problem that I will have to come up with a solution for, hopefully in the near future. We are going to go right behind us down here. This is kind of turned into my little oncidium shelf. I've decided that I don't enjoy having so many oncidiums. They're not really my forte, but there are a few that I still do enjoy, and they will remain in my collection. Um, I have this wildcat, the golden red star, who put out two bloom spikes earlier this year, and we got to see a lovely show. And as I was pruning back her dying spikes, I noticed that there were some buds here at the bottom. So I just snipped the spike halfway down to see if these guys would progress, and they did. So we're going to get some more blooms there. Also, I wanted to point out, you guys are getting ready to see some gnarly leaves around my collection. And before anybody brings it up and hurts my feelings, no, I'm just kidding. What happened there? I'm going to be very transparent with you guys. I had a very, very rough past couple of months with some personal things going on in my life, and my head has been in the clouds. And for whatever reason, I got it into my mind that I could pH at 5.7 instead of 6.7 for my CalMag. And then I do Epsom salt supplements as well. And I also pH that down to 5.7. Why I did that is beyond me, but it happened. And as a result, I have some yellowing leaves that are just very unpleasant to look at. So I apologize for the view, guys, but I wanted to point that out just in case somebody else needed a little refresher or a little reminder as to where we're pHing. So 5.7 is not optimal for a complete magnesium and calcium uptake. So I put salts into the pot that weren't absorbed, and I wasn't giving the nutrients at an acceptable rate where it could be absorbed. So as a result, that is what's happened. And luckily, I figured that out sooner rather than later. So I am very grateful. As ugly as the leaves might be, at least I figured it out. Brabantio, still in bloom. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous Cattleya. I am so happy to have her in my collection now blooming. When I got her, she was this twisted, disheveled division that came as a bare root import, and I was in complete horror when I saw what was in the box. And now, 2 years later, this is where we progressed. You can still see some of like her old decrepit leaves and the twisting of her cane, you know. But but we brought her out of the dark. She has another spike progressing there, so hopefully she's not drawing too much energy and she's able to put on this bloom show for us. And hopefully, probably not, but hopefully these blooms last long enough so that we can have one big show. But it probably won't play out that way. And that's okay, that's fine. Lovely fragrance. In the morning, the sun hits this room pretty heavy, and she perfumes it along with another Cattleya that I am going to show you here in a minute. Over here, I'm very, 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 very excited because my Cattleya Maxima is putting out a sheath, and actively something is happening within the sheath. She tried to bloom for me at the end of last year on her most recent growth besides this one. At that time, this was her most recent growth, and she didn't put a sheath out. And so that bud ended up blasting and never made it. But I was very excited because that let me know that she was mature. She was at blooming size. So I'm hoping that this flower or flowers, I don't know, comes in nicely. I know that is her going to be her first time blooming. I don't have high expectations, but I'm just really curious to see how this maxima looks, especially compared to my cerulean. So we'll see. This is a lowland variety, so she's going to get very, very big, and she's supposed to be more of a cone color. So we will see about that. Down here, my, Love Knot is apparently putting a bud out. How awesome. I didn't notice that when I watered over the weekend. It must have been lower down in closer to the pseudobulb. Well, that's a lovely surprise. I was going to tell you all that I have Delosa back here blooming for the first time. Well, hopefully going to bloom for the first time for me. If you look at past pseudobulbs, she has bloomed before. She was sold to me as blooming size, and she did, I believe, bloom once or twice prior to me getting her into my collection. So this is the first time for me. I believe I've had her 2 years. Maybe this is my third year we're working on. So I'm very, very, very excited to see that. And down here, you're going to hear my knees pop. Down here, I have a Cattleya type. It is the Singing Naranja, and I'll have to put it on the screen, the name of it. I have not seen many of these. There's a couple pictures online, so I have an idea of what it's going to look like. It opens its blooms very awkwardly. I hope it's okay and not virus or something like that. We'll see. I will just pause for a minute. I will let my orchid do its magic, and hopefully we will see a bloom show soon enough and see if it was worth the wait or not. Over here, some of my den phals have little spikes starting. So this is a den phal, and this is a den phal, and both of them have spikes starting. I have 2 new growths coming on my Cattleya. Something else, you guys got to see her last year in bloom. Let's see if I can get her to rebloom. I'd really, really, really like to see her. She smells great, but her blooms are just so beautiful. I absolutely love to see her. And you guys are going to see ladybugs all throughout my grow space. It is part of my integrated pest management. And I'm hoping to do a video in the future for you guys about getting away from pesticides and trying natural, beneficial insects in your collection. So that'll be a video for another day. Comment down below. Let me know if that's something you guys would be interested in. Over here, she did it, guys. My first time blooming the Awanagara apple blossom. This is variety NN, which is Newton's Nursery out in Hawaii. Kelly at Orchids in Paradise on her channel, she actually does a nursery tour of Newton's Nursery. So definitely check that out. He supplies a lot of the big box stores and a lot of nurseries, really, with some wonderful plants. So I think that it's definitely, if you guys are interested in Cattleya hybrids and intergeneric oncidiums and things of that nature, it's definitely something to check out. This orchid smells amazing. If you do not have one, I would get it literally just for the fragrance alone. But the blooms are cute. Yellow with a nice pink lip. I mean, that is just spectacular orchid. First time blooming. She's been in my collection a couple of years. I got her from Better Grow. Well, I got her from Lowe's as a Better Grow baggy baby. And she was definitely worth, they were cheaper then. I think it was like $18 even with tax and all. So that is what I got for $18 with tax and all. I think that's a pretty awesome orchid for that. And if this is your first time blooming, I'm really curious to see what the future holds for this orchid. So it was very, 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 very long time to see this orchid bloom. She had her sheath, and then it looked like that one died off, but then another one formed within it. I was like, okay. But then that one died off, and then another sheath formed. And then from that, it slowly progressed out into what looked like just one big bud. So I was like, all right, for the first time blooming, one bud, that's acceptable. But then all of a sudden, that big bud split into like three smaller buds, and that's what we have as a result. So that's pretty cool, I think. Um, Over here, Chantilly Lace Twinkle is doing something. I think she's going to do the same thing. Have that sheath within a sheath. I don't know. It's weird. It's a new trait, I guess, or it's happened before, and this year is the first year that I've actually paid attention to it. I couldn't tell you. And then this is the LC Green Veil by Nadosa. I know the bloom isn't much to look at, guys, but the fragrance is amazing. Nadosa fragrance with a hint of spice to it. So I really like this solely for the fragrance. But it is a cute flower, don't get me wrong. But the fragrance surpasses the form of the flower by a long shot. And then, of course, you guys got to see my Taiwan Big Lip. Her lip is just incredible this year. I can't get over it. And then behind her, my Rusted Spots is putting out a spike with two buds on it. So if all goes well, hopefully we'll see her back in bloom soon. Up here, we have the Encyclia Rio Clarence. She has three lovely spikes that she is putting out. None of her buds have opened yet, but they are progressing rather quickly now. So I'm hoping for my next update, you guys get to see her. And then this Mariposa is still putting out spike or still putting out buds, but she's not opening them for me. I am dying to see this orchid, and she has blasted three sets of buds now. So hopefully she gets it together and starts putting out some blooms because I am dying to see her blooms. Let's see. I have a couple of Cattleyas up here that have sheaths, but they haven't done anything more than produce sheaths. So we'll update about that at a later time. Down here, I have a first time blooming to Lumnia. She is number 642, I believe, off the top of my head. I'll put her name on the screen. Um, this lighting makes her look so much richer than what she is. So some of my lights, they're Barina grow lights, but some of them are called pink white, and they change the color of like my pink blooms or like my um, light con color blooms. They like make them a deeper and richer, more lush color than what they actually are. And then second time blooming pink sparkles. This is a Denfel. No fragrance on either one of these two, but they're a delight. This orchid I'm so excited about. She is putting out three growths. Hopefully we get some blooms from her because she is a very special Laelia anceps that I got from Andy's Orchids over the winter. Him and I both had panic because this orchid was supposed to arrive like the next day. And for whatever reason, they lost this orchid for almost a week, or they couldn't get it to me for almost a week. And so there are some little brown spot or black spots on her, and that's a little bit of cold damage. There's that one, and then that one up there, but it does not seem to have affected her at all. She's still putting out these three lovely pseudobulbs, and hopefully at the end of that, we'll get to see her bloom. This is variety Mini Harry, so it's a more compact anceps, and that's why I got it. Plus, it was from Andy, so I couldn't say no. I saw it, I saw the price, it was good, and I couldn't say no. And then I have nothing going on this shelf. However, I brought in my Gyrac fragrance from the bedroom so we could see. I put her down here with my Catasetne. who have not yet been watered this year, guys. I just tested roots on this one over the weekend to see if she was ready to be watered. She's not. Her roots are not accepting water yet, and that is fine. I like to just mist a tiny bit and see if it changes any color at all. And when it does do that, then I'll start watering. Usually the roots will get about 3 to 4 inches long, and then I'll start, spritzing to see if the roots are ready to be watered yet. And her roots are definitely um, 3 to 4 inches long, so it shouldn't be much longer. And then I will be running out of water watering my Catacene. But back to the Gyrac fragrance. As you guys know, if you watch my channel, I am not big on Sherry Baby, but this one is much more compact and it smells just as delicious. And she is fragrant all morning long in my bedroom. All you can smell is chocolate by my bed. And then when the afternoon sun comes and hits her, her scent turns right off. So she's fragrant from like, I don't know, 9 a.m. till 2 p.m., 1:30ish, something like that. And then I have a second Oncidium Wildcat. This is the Golden Red Star. This one's blooms look a little bit different and it looks a little bit more artistic here in the flare or in the lip. I like, I don't know, I like how it's like creamy, but then it looks like somebody just splashed paint, like speckled paint with a paintbrush. So I like this one just a little bit more than the one over there. However, I don't think I'm going to keep either one of them. So we will see, guys. And up here, grand reveal. I finally have one. Phalaenopsis Sweet Memory. This is variety Leodoro. And oh my goodness, the perfume that this puts out. It is just incredible. She starts perfuming as soon as the sun hits this room in the morning time because she's close to the window, so the sun hits her pretty first thing, and it just reeks like a lady's perfume in here, and it's absolutely wonderful. And she has a ladybug friend. Awesome. I like having the ladybugs, and I also do beneficial mites to try to keep the spider mite population down, which has been quite successful. I also would like to try um, the lace wings. So I might try lace wing larvae here in the future. So we'll see about that. Over here, my Perenniae is getting ready by the looks of it, to have a bud and a spike and a bud come out. So we will get to see Perenniae this year. Last year was a first time bloomer. Wasn't anything to write home about, so I didn't even make a video about it. It was definitely a first time bloomer trying to bloom. I do have, it's not all the way open yet, but this Nobile type, she is finally blooming size. And it looks like it's going to be a nice creamy white with a lavender center. So stay tuned for that. I'm dying to know what it looks like. I was sent the mother plant my very first year of growing orchids, and I knew nothing about the Nobile types, and she was dormant when it was sent to me. And yet I just continued to water and water and water, and nothing happened. And then all of a sudden, right before she died, she put out a bunch of keikis. So I grabbed, I think there's 3 keikis that I put together, and now they started taking over this mount, and then now they're ready to bloom. So this year they will go outside with my other Nobiles for a nice little autumn chill um, until it gets down to about 42 degrees Fahrenheit, and then I will bring them back inside. And then up here, my only Vanda is the one that always blooms for us. This little light on. Maybe that'll help. I have a little light, but it doesn't ever seem to do anything. This is the Evanco Stylus Motes Quantum. If you do not have it and you love fragrant orchids, I definitely recommend. Her blooms are going out. She's been open for a while. She is in bloom more than she rests. And that is, I'm not joking about that or exaggerating in the slightest. She blooms 7 to 9 times a year reliably. Um, she's a wonderful plant. I have no complaints. Very, very easy Vanda to take care of, and she blooms very easily. What more could you ask for? So, this is my warm to hot grow space. So, I haven't decided if I'm just going to make one big, huge video or if I'm going to split it up for you all into a couple of videos. So, on the off chance that I don't make one big, huge video for you guys, if you want to go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, that'd be absolutely awesome. I look forward to hearing some feedback about maybe potentially doing a integrated pest management video for you all. And with that said, y'all have yourself a great weekend, guys. I appreciate it.